Hey everybody. I'm jumping in real quick about the post-eclipse time frame of integration of all the changes that are encouraged within your energy right now. And I've been thinking about divinity and God within you, or you within the God. And I've been playing recently a lot with this um, like it's almost like a label, but it's not. You see, it's like I've been using word God intentionally where I would usually use universe to kind of see how I would react to it. There's a lot of resistance about God or the concept of God as it relates to religion, let's say, right? I was talking to my mom and she's like, I refuse to believe that there is a man sitting on the cloud and deciding what I have to do. And I'm like, you don't have to believe that. That's literally a story that you're creating. There is no man in the cloud. But yeah, I started thinking from the point where, yeah, it doesn't matter what you call it, right? This I can't even say it's like a divine extension of yours, because it's kind of the opposite, you know, this thought that you are like a concentration of, but not concentration in the sense, yeah, you are kind of like an essence, or that thought. That's why also astrology is so much fun, because astrology shows you what kind of thought it was, what it exactly represents. But yeah, I was meditating and like integrating my inner parts that are, it doesn't matter, like there's so many of them, I can't even say if there's a common theme. Of course there's always a common theme of divinity and accepting it or denying it. And I realized that the closer I get to my essence and my truth and loving myself, the more I feel warmth and openness towards religious people. And it's not like I mean, maybe at some point I was made to believe that I hate people who believe in God or whatever. I am not going to deny that. I can't say like I was fighting people or anything, but I was like, okay, I don't get it. And it's like the closer you get to your own divine nature, the easier it is to understand. And some people are just fortunate to be born in the environment where they don't have to go through all this journey. And again, it's not like fortunate versus unfortunate, because the thought that put you in this kind of environment where you decided to take this journey, so that's all a blessing. That's not even a blessing, it's literally you have decided it, so you are doing it. But just on a human plane, if we compare how some people know it already, they know that all is well, they know that you're supported, they know that you're perfect, whether you call it child of God, whether you call it a God, which is a child of God is always a God. The same way the child of a cat is always a cat. You cannot be a child of God and not be a God. But sometimes, of course, religion would tell us that it's a blasphemy to say that you're a God. And then that's where like the problems start, where the like restrictions and rules come in, and suddenly you have to, follow a book that, tells you exactly what to do and when. And again, not just to blame books or anything, but the moment we introduce rules into our beingness, that's the moment we do not trust our divinity and our own ability to make the right choice and to live by our heart. And I found this, it's kind of a revelation, and somewhat, unraveling, even though I'm like, duh. But I am so often like that with my thoughts. I'm like, yeah, that's obvious. But of course, when you find the truth, that always feels like you've known it forever. That's how you know it's truth. It's not something mind-blowing as in nature. It can blow your mind by how simple it is and how obvious it is and how it's right in your face and been there forever. But it's never something you didn't know, because truth is within you and you just need to see it kind of mirrored to you, or be ready and in a space to receive it. So I was meditating and I just realized literally that the even possibility of world being divided into religious people and secular society is just stems from inability of non-religious people to recognize their own divinity. Because when you cannot accept that you are divine, you are nowhere close to be in peaceful cohabitation with people who do. And you're gonna feel threatened. It's like when you're feeling super unhappy, people who are like cheerful or joyful can make you like mad, and that's you being mad at yourself for feeling unhappy, which is also a form of, self-hate. So it's like you wallow in your pain and it keeps attracting more pain and you regurgitate it and you're going in circles. And you'll get hurt by people not taking on your pain because you feel like that would be love. But love is just accepting you for where you're at and not blaming or judging you for how you're feeling. So I know for sure, like if we talk about white supremacy, you can't oppress other people unless you feel whole and holy within. And I've been thinking about it a lot and how direct and only path towards peaceful and loving future lays within just what we call Western society, aligning itself with God And I know I am 100% aware of the fact that when I say aligning yourself with God, it sounds like woo woo or like, oh my God, they lost their mind or something like that. Because there's so much propaganda circulating, as in like what's unscientific is not true. There's no awareness of science being just like this tiny particle of knowledge of only stuff that can be somehow utilized in 3D. So there's a lot of stuff to unpack around it. But can you imagine society where every person is aware that they're divine? Every person knowing that they're so loved and protected, and that there's nothing they have to do at any point. Can you imagine how happy and beautiful this society is? And every time you lash out at anybody, at yourself, at your neighbor, at your parent, at your child, knowing that this is your deep pain coming out, and you're the one to deal with it, and you're the one to heal it and give it whatever it needs. It's love. It's always love. But it can be, it can be an action, or it can be a thought, or it can be a feeling, whichever that part wants at any given moment. And when you know it, and when you most importantly practice it, because just knowing and not practicing creates mistrust, because you're knowing one thing but experiencing the other, and it creates a split within you, within your heart. So it's important, when you know something is true, to practice it as much as possible. I'm going back to my unravelings and integrations. It's a beautiful time. It's a beautiful time, and I wish you all to regain as much love from it as possible. Don't make it a chase, but just make a commitment to not leave it, like, no matter how small it feels. Tackling small issues is even more helpful in a way, especially when you're beginning or at any times, because they're easy to tackle. You're not so defensive about it. So you dive right into them. You come out having solved them, and then you see your own power. You see how you do create everything in your life. Every little thing. Starting from the little thing. And then you just, without even noticing it, you get into reintegrating bigger parts. And it just becomes your nature to pay attention to yourself at any given moment, and not buy into an illusion that it's ever possible for anything at all to happen outside of you, because you are everything, literally and figuratively. I wish you a great day, an awesome week, and see you next time when I, jump out of the woodwork. with new insights. I'm trying to not, do anything because I have to. Even this, like, there are a lot of things that I would want to share, but I just didn't feel like it. So when I do, I will. Okay? I love you all.